all of a sudden I just decided like I need to go out. I need to go explore this about me. I can't like keep it inside me forever.
I finally got to meet Natalie at our last Jezebel Jamboree down in Nashville, Tennessee. I'd known her online for over a year and a half, following her adventures on Instagram. There, she is at Natalie on a journey. And you can find her always out and about exploring the world in great outfits, pushing positivity, and taking some really good pics.
Ooh.
Hey, Natalie.
Olive, how are you?
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Have a seat.
All right, thank you.
So, we are here in Nashville. Wait, you're not from Nashville.
Oh no,
I'm not from Nashville. What are we doing in Nashville?
here for some fun. Girls' weekend.
Girls' weekend, the Jezebel
Jamboree.
I believe was on it. We'll work with that. So, and what do we have to imbibe today?
White Castle.
Ooh, I'm liking this. So no drink special, but we're gonna have some little burgers. Well,
All right.
it's been a long time since I've had a White Castle.
Oh, nice.
Cheers.
Cheers to White Castle.
From 1 to 10, what would be the score?
I'm gonna go with the 6.5 because it's cold.
No, it's like a 10 for me. It's cold. And it's White Castle. I can't get it in my area, so this is just super exciting to me.
So, you please eat as you will. This is relaxed.
This is
We're
so
having
good.
fun. So, how have you been?
Great.
What you got going on in your life?
That's great, thanks. Living my full life, having a good time. Just doing great.
So, your Instagram handle
Yep.
is Natalie on a Journey.
That's right.
So, where are we going up? Let's not go where we're going. Let's not go where we're going. Where have you been? How does this all start? How did your journey begin?
All started when I was, well, it's probably when I was about 5 or 6. And ever since then, I've just always been infatuated with just dressing up and doing all that stuff and being feminine. It's just always something that's just been inside me. Even since when I was younger, I knew.
Did you have friends or anything? Was your family like? Was it a very private thing, or was it something you were more open about as a kid?
No, when I was a kid, I hid it all. It was really hidden.
So you learned right away that
Yeah.
that's what society wants.
Pretty much, it seemed like that. Even as a kid, I think I
Right.
kind of felt that way. It was tough.
I definitely was there before myself.
Yep.
So you started out young.
Mm-hmm.
How much of influence on your life did it have? And was it constant?
It wasn't constant, unfortunately. It was like times when I didn't do it, and then there was times I did do it. But when I was younger, I think I just snuck around and did it a lot. And it was just kind of something really private to me. And I had a lot of alone time when I was a kid because my parents both worked.
Okay.
And my
Yeah, I
sister
know that,
was,
I know that.
yeah, and my sister was older than me. So there was like always these times like in the day when I got home from school that like I was alone for a few hours, and that was like that time that I did those things. So it was just amazing. It was just, even back then, you know, when I didn't even know what it really was, I just had to do it.
Right. It was super confusing for a kid to have even
It was.
the beginning of an understanding of what was going on.
Yeah,
It was,
it was.
I know. So we're coming up closer to now. What about your teen years? Or what about after high school when you didn't have that special time and you didn't have access to so much those kinds of clothes?
Yeah, I mean, when I was like in high school, I was still hiding it, but I was lucky enough to have like things like eBay like back then, so I was like buying like little things here and there, but I was like hiding them. I mean, it was like only like one thing. I remember buying these like sweatpants that were like these spandex like they were like red spandex, and I loved them, but it was like the only thing I had for a while. I mean, it was just special to me to even like buy like one item of clothing it was just a huge deal. So yeah, back then in my teen years, it was it wasn't much, but it was enough for me. It was enough for me to get something.
Of something that you wanted and needed to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
Yeah.
And after high school, what about after high school? You're out on your own. The world's yours.
That's kind of when Natalie wasn't really going. There's nothing going on there with Natalie for a while. There wasn't. I mean, I was just kind of like suppressing it. I don't know. I think I started learning more about it and learning about people that are cross-dressers or people that are trans. And I was just like trying to look at myself, and I'm just like, I don't think that's really me. I just like, it was really tough, even back then, to trying to like look at oneself and see if that's like what something is. Is that like what I want to do in my life, or is this something I really want, or is this something?
There weren't a lot of options back then.
No.
We didn't have the language that's out there now.
Oh no.
To be able to talk about the different shades of it or the different areas of the spectrum that it is.
Oh no, there was very limited stuff. There really was. I mean, there was the internet for me, but it was just so limited. And it was just like, there was only few people that I found out there that were trans or are cross-dressers. And like, I always looked at them in like awe. I'm just like, oh my God, like they're out doing this or out doing this or just living their lives perhaps. And it was just interesting. I was always infatuated with when I was like in my teen years, early 20s, surfing the internet, because there wasn't many. I mean, and when it was portrayed in like movies and TV shows, it was like funny. It was like, ha ha ha, this is funny. A guy dressing up as a girl, yeah.
It was either funny or bad, something to be.
So yeah, it was tough back then. It really was, to try to find like any type of community, because I really didn't even know about like the community. It was just me.
So, what brought you to the next level then after that? If we're going through some dry years, some kind of pushing it away years.
Yeah.
What got, I mean, look at you now. You're beautiful, and what brought
Thanks.
you to this? What gave you that little?
I think it was just so many years in my 20s and most of like my early 30s. I just didn't do it. I didn't have any clothing, and then there was a few times like I purged and just wanted to get rid of everything, because I was just like, no, I don't want to do this. So there was a long time in my life that I just didn't do it and didn't want to do it. I mean, I didn't even have a wig for a while, or it was just tough. I mean, I used to have, a full beard and like still dress up, and I still liked it, but I was just always like, it's like, this doesn't look good. So yeah, it was, I think it kind of came to a point like in like 2018, 2019, all of a sudden I wanted to start exploring it like way more in depth than I've never done before. Like learning, trying to put makeup on, learning how to put together outfits.
And what kind of resources did you use for
Not, I mean, again, I went to play.
Was it still totally a solo journey, or were you talking to people?
I
or
was
it just watching other people and learning from them.
Yeah, so back at that time, I started going on sites like crossdressers.com and meeting some people there and like reading posts and reading and looking at pictures that other people have posted of themselves, or just reading about just information, just chat rooms and stuff. That's where I started like picking up some things and learning some things, talking to people and just, conversing with them about those thoughts. I've just never had a conversation with anybody outside that circle about those questions, because at that time, I had still not told anybody. Nobody knew. So I was like only having conversations with people that were queer or trans or a cross-dresser. So it was a kind of like a rough start, but I kind of just kept on going and kind of just feeling it out myself. Just kind of just going along whatever path I wanted to, that I felt good going on. It was a lot. It was a lot to take under. The first, like in 2019, and then 2020 happened, and then yeah.
Did that help or hinder?
That helped. That is everything right there.
Gave you the time.
I mean, I spent
space.
I spent a lot of time at home. I wasn't working. It was just a lot during COVID for everybody, but just all of a sudden I just decided like I need to go out. I need to go explore this about me. I can't like keep it inside me forever.
Right.
I think that's like another thing. It just kept on like, it was always down there, and I just kept on just like repressing it. It's like, no, like this is bad. Kind of felt ashamed of it for a while. but then just finally said like I need to like let it all out. Even if I don't come out to people, I said that to myself. It's like if I'm gonna start this journey, I don't need to come out to everybody and say, hey, I'm trans, I'm Natalie. Instead, I'm just like going along my own path and just going along my journey whatever way that I need to, my best way. So yeah, COVID was, it was a lot. It was a lot of time to dress up too. I mean,
so at that time, what was your best resource? Was it still crossdresser.com, or did you find some other? Some people have done Reddit at the early stages.
Okay.
Some people like Pinterest.
Pinterest, not really. It was mostly crossdressers.com. I used to go on a site called crossdresserheaven.com. Haven't been on there in a while, but I used to go on there in 2019, 2020, around that time. And that was a good resource. That seemed a little bit more like a social media site. It just seemed a little bit more like it because you can chat with people and post things, and there were stories, and that was pretty cool. I like that.
So what was the tipping point? Because somewhere you're looking at other people doing it,
yeah,
and you're doing it, and then now you are that person online.
Yeah.
Well, what did that? That's huge. I mean, what got you over that hump? What got you?
I don't know. It's still to this day. I don't know like what put me over that hump. Honestly, I just like decided. I just like planned this thing. It was in 2020, and I planned this like vacation, and like nobody was traveling anyways. And I was just like, well, why don't I go to a seaside town near me? It's called Cape Cod, and I went there, and I just like went there myself on vacation, and I like made a plan. It's like I'm gonna go and I'm gonna buy a dress, and then I'm gonna go out.
Give yourself that space to do that.
Yeah, it was like I'm just gonna go and do it, and I did it, and it just took me forever to get out that door, but yeah, you know, I did it. I had to go out into the parking lot. I had to go to a car.
This is all by yourself.
Yeah, no, nobody,
nothing.
nothing. It was just me.
How did you get out the door? Seriously, if
I
didn't have that little thing over there pushing and prodding me at the early stages of this, I wouldn't be.
I was gonna say that feels
I don't know. It was
right there.
It was in the daytime, I remember, and I just remember getting dressed up and like I tried to.
Dress? I know you got
it was like a tie-dye dress because I bought the dress in Cape Cod.
Okay. Oh, so I had beach ideas, themes.
Kind of in a way. I mean, I wasn't really going for a theme, honestly. That was just my mission. It was like buy the dress and then wear the dress out somewhere. So I had bought the dress and then I had put it on, and I just remember like not being good at makeup at all, like non-existent. It was very, very little.
But you had some.
I had a little bit, yeah. It was a rough stage then, but you know, I just did what I could and just put what on, and you know, I put my wig on, and then I was just standing in this hotel room and like standing by the door and like shaking. I'm like, I can't go out. I just stood there for probably, no kidding, like a half an hour, like at the door right there. It was like, open it up, and I just couldn't do it for the longest time. And then I finally did. I just finally just pushed through and just said like, I'm going outside to my car, and I'm gonna get it, and I'm gonna start the car, and I'm gonna leave the hotel, and I did. So
that was leaving the hotel, or was that just going out from the hotel to go out?
Just like leaving my room, and then going to the parking lot, and then getting into my car, and then leaving. That was just a lot, That was just a lot right there, just doing that.
So I know that during that time, there's a lot of emotion and everything that was going on. When you were done, how did it feel? How did it feel? Did it feel like you accomplished something? Did it feel like what was that?
Well, once I got into my car, I drove around, and I drove to this mall, and like I got into the parking lot, and I like pulled in, and I looked at the building, and I like wanted to go in. I wanted to do it.
You said this is COVID time.
Yeah.
Are we in masks? Or are we without masks?
I think I didn't have a mask. In fact, I think, yeah, I did not have one.
For cross-dressers, like COVID was awesome because with the mask,
yeah,
it gives everybody can have feminine eyes. Everybody can.
Of course.
But so I was just wondering if you were going all out, or if you had a little bit of.
No, I don't remember having a mask.
Wow.
In fact, for some reason, I just didn't have one. But I had pulled into the mall parking lot, and I just could not get out of my car. I just could not do it. There was just no way it just couldn't do it. So I pulled away, and I tried to go to a strip mall like across the street. I just kept on saying like, well, no. I kind of felt like I like failed. I was like, this is a fail. This is like, what am I doing?
You needed to find the place that gave you that feeling that it was this might be the spot. Because I know you keep, no, this isn't right, this isn't right, this is right.
Yeah.
Over here, see if this is right.
Yep, that's what I did. It's what I kept on doing. I went to like, I'm going to go to this strip mall over here, and I'm going to go into that store. And I got to like the second place, and I couldn't do it. I could not get out of my car. I just couldn't do it. So it wasn't like the most best first time out, but I still got back and still felt like I accomplished something.
You did.
Yeah, yeah. It just felt like it wasn't really much. You know, it's tough. It was tough. I kind
But the
of.
next time, was it easier to go out that door?
Not really. It was still hard.
Hi.
But in fact, I do remember driving home that vacation and just thinking about so many things. And like, I said, I kind of felt at the time like I kind of screwed up. I was like, this is like, it's like, come on, I should have done so better. And I remember like the next week, I like went to a mall and I just like walked right in. I just went right in there, and like I was like dressed up, and it was just great. I don't know, I just kind of felt like I needed that first moment on that vacation to like do the second one, which was like a week following. And then I felt like I really kind of broke a seal there, like right after that. So that was a pivotal moment for me right there, I'd say. Just even going to like a mall and just looking around, not even buying anything, but it didn't matter.
We did the same thing. I was like looking around.
It was just like people saw me. I just
know.
knew. It was like there was people that saw me, and like, I don't know. I
And
just
nothing bad happened.
no, nothing did.
Nothing bad happened.
No, it was great. So yeah, those were like my first 2 times out as Natalie, and kind of took off from there.
So when did you what was your big first with other crossdressers meeting up and going out?
That
Did you have
was,
one of those?
yep, that was in 2021 when I went to Gender Shake
Where
in Chicago, Illinois. And that was a pivotal moment. I mean, I had just been so nervous. I had only met like a few other crossdressers in my local town before, and it was like one person at a time. And then like, oh my God, I'm gonna meet like 20 of them or 30 of them. I don't remember how many there were there, but it was really nerve-wracking. It really was. Just going to a place, a new city I've never been to, going on there and just going alone too. Like nobody was there with me, so I had to do this all myself. But yeah, it was just a huge moment when I got to Chicago. It really was. It's
And how do you feel that going to Gender Shake and meeting so many other crossdressers affected you or influenced you past that point?
Oh, it influenced me a lot. It was huge. That whole weekend was just, I can't even put into words like how amazing it was. I mean, we had gone out to like 2 clubs, and we saw like a drag show, and I have never been to like a drag show before. So that was like even like totally entertaining to me. So it was just amazing, just going out and being out, like living my best life, just doing it, and being around other cross-dressers or trans people and meeting all these different people along the transgender spectrum, and it was just so amazing. It was just one hell of a trip. And I remember going home or being on the plane. I got on the plane and I just like started crying. I just couldn't stop crying. I was sobbing. I mean, this person next to me saw me like sobbing under my mask, because we used to have to wear masks on planes at that point. And I just remember like crying. I just could not stop fucking crying. So yeah, it was.
It wasn't one of those sad cries.
It was a good cry. It was a good cry and around a bunch of complete strangers on a plane. So that was a good. That was It was. If I felt a little embarrassed when I did it, but it just happened then. Like all the emotions just hit me, and it was just right there. So yeah, that was just a pivotal moment for me. It was.
So you're outdoorsy. You
Yep.
love the outdoors. You love traveling.
Yep.
How is that fitting in with Natalie?
So, Like I said, when I first started going out, I just went to like a simple place like a mall. And then I'm like, well, why don't I go to like a park? Why don't I go try that? And I just tried that. And then like I was loving that. And then like I do photography and I was like, well, why don't I like go out and like take pictures and be out and just and get to dress up. It was just so many good things like put together that I had to do it. So that's what I started doing, just going to parks, and then eventually I started like finding other things to do, like going to a museum. I mean, there's just so many things I wanted to do, and I had done before, not dressed up. And it was just so much more. It's not the same. It's just not. It isn't. So that was the cool thing. I just started going to simple places and just trying and seeing how I felt in these places, because again, I was alone. I had nobody around me to.
So you still didn't have like local friends so much.
No, just me. I was just going out, just enjoying myself, and it's just amazing. It was always such a great experience, even when I first started going out up until today. Every experience, every time I do go out, it's always a different experience, and it's always meaningful. Even, today, it doesn't matter. So it's a feeling of like euphoria. It really is. It's beautiful.
So, friends, family, this is all just you.
No.
Do you have any friends that you've been able to confide to? Or?
Yeah. So I came out to two best friends. One is from high school, I've actually known her since I was like 14 or 15, because we went to middle school together and high school. And then for a while we didn't like talk to each other. We really weren't like kind of like staying connected after high school. And then I found her on Facebook, and she was like putting all these things up about like pro things for like trans people and pro things for like gay people. I was like, wow, she seems like she's really like kind of into that. I just didn't know.
So you feel like it might.
I was like, I know this girl, and we've known each other for a long time. I'm like, why don't I just like text her one day? And I just did. I'm just like, it's like I just started just saying hi, and then I just like came out to her. I'm just like, I'm trans. I like to do this, and she just like loved it. She's been like so supportive of it, even up to today. Absolutely. So she's been great. Even her boyfriend is very supportive. Both of them are. I go out with them all the time still. She brings me out to bars and to places that are they're not like really like queer spaces. They're just like regular, just bars or whatever. And she just goes out and says, she introduces me to her friends, and all of them are really cool. So it's been a really great experience with her. I kind of feel like I hit the jackpot with her. She's been really, really cool about it. But for a while it was tough. She had to get used to even me looking this way, and she had used my legal name for a while instead of Natalie. So it was a little tough for a while, and I was like letting her go. I'm like, don't worry about it. I'm not. She felt a little bad. She had referred to me as he a few times and used my legal name and not Natalie. And it's just like, it's okay. It's like, don't worry about it. You're being supportive. And you're getting me out the door. You're getting me to go to these places. It's huge. So she's been great. So yeah.
I think it's one of the best people you can go out with, in my opinion, as a woman, because all of the negative things people try and use against you, if you're out with a woman, that half of it gets negated. Right off the get go.
Right.
They can't say anything.
Yep.
Well, I guess you. I don't know where I'm going with this, but it's just whatever. But it's just, to me, it's just like, that's what I loved about her. I was never like, I'll go anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
After a point, she doesn't find a lot at the beginning, but I'll go anywhere with her, because if I get to that point where it's like, I know she'll fucking cool.
I'll fight you.
But I don't know. I just think that's a beautiful thing. I think that's wonderful that she opened up for that.
It's been great.
And adjusted her life, her thinking.
Yeah.
And
had introduced me to a lot of her friends and family. I mean, that was just an honor. I'm just like, wow. It's like, I was just expecting just to hang out with her. And then she's like, no, you should meet my boyfriend, and you should meet, my boyfriend's family and her family. And I was like, sure, go ahead. And, I was fine with that. because she invited me to like a picnic, and she had like a picnic with like her family and her boyfriend's family, and it was just a beautiful thing. It was just awesome meeting all these people that I had never met before. It was a little scary because these people are just, they're not queer people or trans people.
Right.
It was just like, okay, I'm just gonna meet some normal people and for a park one day, and it was just an awesome experience doing that.
And they just know you as Natalie.
They just accepted it.
nothing
Yeah,
else.
that was it.
That's-
So it was awesome. So I hit the jackpot with her. She's been doing good.
So I understand on one trip you went to Boston and had some subway issues as Natalie. What was it?
So I went to Boston.
Oh, and you got the Boston accent out there.
Yeah, with the Boston.
like
Yeah,
that.
the Boston. It's a wicked good accent. So I went out to Boston and I went to go see a play with another crossdresser that I had met.
So
in-
you started meeting more people online, and you
Yep.
you were able to have some.
This
hang
girl,
out and-
this girl I met at Gender Shake in 2021 in Chicago. That's where she lives. And she had like talked to me, and we were talking, and she's like, you know what? I'm going out to Boston to go see a musical. Like, you want to come? Because she knew like I wasn't like too far away.
Right.
I'm like, yeah, I definitely want to come. So yeah, so we went to the play. We went out to dinner. It was nice. We went to a club. Everything was fine. The whole weekend was great. But we went shopping one afternoon, and we wanted to go to a mall, and we had to go to a Subway, and I had like thought she was gonna be good with like subway systems because she's like from Chicago. I like told her, I'm like, you're from like Chicago, you should know like major transit
How
systems.
this works.
I thought, because like I'm from a small town, I don't have any public transportation like that. So we got to the Subway and she like didn't know where to go. We had no idea, and we got like all turned around and we tried to like ask for help. And like nobody was helping us, like even complete strangers. It was great. It was like just nobody wanted to help us. And then we ran into this guy that was like a worker there, and he was kind of like an ass about it. He was just like, he's like, you go down that tunnel and then you take a left, and then that's where you get to your train. And we screwed it up, and somehow we got back to him again. That was the funny part. Like we had screwed it up so bad that we walked so far and came back. And she's like, and he, we got back, and he was like even more pissed this time. He's like, didn't you hear me? So it was just a really awkward moment, but it's just good to laugh about it now that he had just, he was just like fed up with us.
Right.
It's like really, the two of you again, that you just came back to the same place. So yeah, it was just this really awkward, confusing moment, and it was just something I remember. It was just a funny moment.
Our first subway trip to New York, we
What?
were in heels and did way too much walking because we didn't know where we were.
That's the problem. So yeah, it was just funny. It was just it was a scary moment, honestly. But looking back on it now, it was just more of a funny thing, because the guy had like this Boston accent, and I don't even want to try to like do a Boston accent, but he did. He had this really good Boston accent, and he didn't seem like he wanted to help us after that. He's like, we didn't listen to him.
You had your chance.
You had your chance. You're done. So no, yeah, we did make it out of the tunnels though. We were good. So yeah, little funny moment there.
So we're gonna do something a little bit different. I'm going to leave the host seat to Daddy.
Oh,
Me? Okay.
wow.
Okay. Hi, everyone.
Daddy's gonna ask a question.
Yes. So the question is for the meeting new people. What will be the quality of that new people that you are trying to get into your life? What would you like not expect, but what would you like ask them, or what would be the quality into that new new people that's coming into your life?
New people that are coming into my life, I want them to be like really friendly. I want them to be like open and honest with me. I want them to be having a good sense of humor. I just want to be comfortable with them. I don't want to feel like I'm forcing a conversation with them.
Okay.
I just want to have almost like a friendship, or be like a best friend with them first before, if I really wanted to get to know them perhaps, or further, along that. So yeah, I think I would want someone that's like a best friend that's, that can really listen to me and kind of vibe with me and kind of really feel comfortable around me, and we can say anything we want to one another. So that's what it is.
Awesome. Yeah, because I was gonna add to that conversations that you guys are having, like in the bar that we were last night. My gosh, everyone was so nice, and it was just like you guys were portraying such a good energy, and you just having fun, and it was just like beautiful. You guys were like just vibing, and it was just the energy there was amazing. It was amazing. It was amazing. It was really, really nice, and then everyone is just having a really great time.
We really were.
It was
amazing. Just amazing.
Yes, and it's just like all of us. It was just like a big. We knew each other like from a long time ago, and it was like it was beautiful.
I don't know. I mean, when I was around all those people, I just was so comfortable. I didn't feel anxious or nervous anymore. I just found comfort with all of them after a while.
It did. Felt like it was like, we've been friends for many, many years.
Exactly. Yes. Something like that. Yeah. So
that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was nice.
It was
a really good moment. I'm not going to forget it. Ever.
Sure.
All right, that's enough. Get out of here.
Jeez.
Oh my God.
Bye, Daddy.
My show.
All right. Let me get some more of this ice cold burger.
This one's getting icicles in it.
This is sweet tea.
I think mine is Gatorade.
Okay.
So, the last three.
Okay.
What would you, with where you are now, if you had the chance to talk to your younger self about where you're at, what one piece of advice would you give them to make their life easier, to make it better, to not encounter some of the negativity that you've had? Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
What would you say to yourself?
If I went back in time and talked to myself and I would say to myself, stop overthinking everything. Stop being afraid of who you are. Live your life and don't hold back. Because that's what I was doing. I was holding back everything. I was keeping it all down inside me. So that's what I would tell myself. It's like, you need to go live your life. It's like, this is your life. There's only going to be one trip around.
Right.
So don't wait. So that's what I would tell myself. I think I tell myself that right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Remind yourself.
Yeah. But in younger days, yes. When I was well into the closet, I would have told myself that. So.
You're stuck on an elevator.
Okay.
You have somebody who's exhibiting some pretty outward signs of transphobia. You're stuck there for a couple hours because the power's out.
Wow.
So how are you going? You're stuck talking to this person. How would you talk to them about you're dressed up as you're Natalie at the time.
Okay.
And they're like, what are you doing? So how would you approach that conversation? What would you try to say to them to not just diffuse it, but maybe educate or maybe break through a barrier?
I think that I would try to educate the person. It depends on how ignorant they were, perhaps, if they didn't like trans people or cross-dressers or cross-dresser individuals. I think I would try to educate them. I would try to calmly talk to them and try to go through and explain to them that gender is not one or the other. It's a whole other thing. It's something that you shouldn't be hating because you don't understand it.
Right.
It's like if you don't understand it, you shouldn't be hating it. You should be trying to learn about it. And then if you learn about it, it's not going to be a scary thing or a threat to you. Because because that's what a lot of people are always afraid of. It's like a threat to them. There's no threat.
Right.
But to someone that is,
We get played up as the threat quite a bit, even though.
yes. So yeah, I think that would be the main thing. It's like we're not a threat.
Right.
There's nothing to be afraid of us. You're not going to catch what I have. I guess that's something I would say. That would be pretty sarcastic, but I would be probably saying something like that. You're not going to catch trans. It's like, sorry, it's not going to happen that way. So yeah, I think I would try to educate them, but try not to get into an argument or anything like that. Try not to escalate it, I guess. I'm not really a violent person or anything like that, so I wouldn't want to.
Really? I didn't get that vibe.
No.
Just call me. I'll take care of it.
All right, well, last question. One question for me. What you got?
So, like, what was your pivotal moment for you for Olive? What was like your moment where you like either like when I was telling you about like how the time I cried and kind of like started really like accepting myself? Like, was there a moment in your life where it was just like, wow, like this is way beyond than what you thought it really was, or it's way bigger than life?
It was when I actually, because I was on Instagram for a while and Twitter and Tumblr, posting my pics, getting the likes and all that.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know why I was doing or what it felt good. I liked the attention. I liked how the pictures I was taking, it made me feel good about myself.
Mm-hmm.
And that was cool, but what really got me was starting to interact with other cross-dressers online.
Okay.
And talk to them, and then to go and hang out with them, to meet them. That's been the key for me for everything. Because I used to use a lot of filter. I wanted my two separate lives.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to make sure there was zero chance that anything was going to cross.
All right.
That these two, I can do these two things. But then at that point where you're going to meet other people, you don't have a filter in real life. I can't be that person that's on, and that made me look at because when you're going to meet other people and you don't have that, you can't have those two lives. Yeah. There's a crossover. And with that, you have to really look at who you are. And yeah,
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
I know.
It's brought me nothing but joy to get to meet y'all and do this.
Beautiful friendship that everyone has now, like these new meetings that we do now.
Mm-hmm.
The girls' weekend.
Yeah.
It's such a beautiful thing, and everyone is just so open arms, and it's just beautiful.
It's just wonderful. It brings it to a whole new level, and it really doesn't matter what we're called or what we do.
All right. Of course.
Just, we're accepted, and that's huge.
We're validated. That's what I always kind of look at it as.
Yeah.
It's a validating experience. It is. It's an experience that nobody, I don't think, if you're really not trans or a cross-dresser, or just, if you're just trans in general, or just along that spectrum, you may never experience what we experience.
Right.
It's just, that's why I always say to a lot of people, it's really tough to put in words.
I don't think we have the language for it. We're working on it.
Yeah.
I don't think
I know.
we have the language yet.
It is.
We'll get there.
I think we will. I am very optimistic of the future. It's going to be very positive for us. Oh, I always think positive, so.
Well, thank you very much.
All right.
It's been wonderful.
Yes, I love it. It was so good.
Say goodbye to the camera.
Bye.
Love y'all.
Bye.